This is my story about me, a boy who fell so in love with someone when he was least expecting to, but he fell so hard that he forgot to love himself and lost his way. I met a boy and I was scared to lose him, but I loved myself enough to be brave enough to lose him and take that risk, a risk that might lose him. And it was worth it because we both fell in love with each other. But I got too comfortable. I neglected my friends, my family, my career. I gave up everything for him and expected the same in return. I even gave up myself. That wasn't bravery. That was fear. And in return, I was given back to myself. And even though I didn't want it, I was forced to keep it and want it and love it. I promised to give myself the love I deserve. In the end, I lost him like I did fear what happened, but I found myself. A month ago, I recorded a video and I decided to title it, "I Miss All My Friends and Drove Them All Away." And in the video, I'm basically reflecting on my life after having an anxiety attack and just questioning why I'm not happy and why I still can't love myself despite being in a really good place in life. Right now, my life is in a very different place. The relationship I was in at the time has been broken up and it's been pretty hard on me. At the same time, I've never felt more alive in my life. And by alive, I don't necessarily mean happy. I feel so much pain. And at the same time, that really does bring a lot of happiness with it. One of the things that I learned is that emotions are like a pendulum. There's always this balance. When you're suffering so deeply, if you stick it out, the pendulum will swing just as far on the other side of the spectrum. This has been one of the first relationships where I really felt like I was actually in love with someone. So I've been in a really dark place because how could I ever believe that there is hope for another lover out there? It's strange because the relationship was only the first part of the story. The breakup and the process after the breakup was a whole nother part that I had to experience in order to really discover who I was. I've learned so much from this relationship and I would not go back to change a thing. I think that the breakup was necessary. My goal with filming these is really to heal and for me to be able to watch these. I'm hoping that maybe one day in the future, I'll be able to post this and be proud of the growth that I've gone through and hopefully inspire other people to know that they're not alone. My philosophy and the core of who I am, I believe that kindness is the most important thing in the world. And I really don't want to put any sort of real hate and negativity out there. And that kind of is what happened towards the end of the relationship. I think I really started to hate myself. And the negativity I had was really getting projected onto the relationship. So I've written so much about this relationship in the past 3 weeks since breaking up. All these ideas that I have in my head, I need to write it down because I really am trying my best to heal. I'm trying to stay sober and I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to fully feel and grieve this relationship because I don't want to numb what I'm going through. As difficult as it is, I know that this is the pain that is necessary for me to really become a better person. What I learned about being in a relationship was that it is more of a reflection on who I am rather than who they are as a person. The things that are going on in my mind, it's not about them, it's about me. And that way, being in a relationship, you're really learning about yourself. In that mindset, you're actually allowing both yourself and the other person to grow. So my message to you is go out and fall in love, but expect that breakups are inevitable. I've watched so many movies, videos, self-help books, TV shows about love in these past 3 weeks. And I've just been reflecting so hard on what it is. I've talked to so many people about this breakup and how much it's affected me. It's really brought me closer to them, because I didn't realize, but these other people who I've talked to have also gone through breakups. It's a universal experience. But to end things on a good note, what I've learned is that it gets better and you become a much more fuller person through these breakups. I feel like I am playing so much reverse psychology with myself, because if I do want to get him back, the only way I can do that is by moving on. But if I truly do move on, then I don't really want to get back with him. So it's kind of a paradox. It doesn't even make sense, you know? And that's something I'm still trying to understand and wrap my head around. I've been doing a lot of things to distract myself in these past 3 weeks, really putting myself out there, reaching out to friends, auditioning. I'm in a play right now, which is amazing. We just started our first day of rehearsal, it's been a huge distraction. I found a community of friends, people who want to support me. I've been really diving deep into writing, journaling, screenwriting. I'm writing really personal stories, and I'm really proud to be able to write that. I don't know if they'll ever be published out in the world, but it makes me feel like I'm healing in that way by writing. I'm really happy. I've never been more creatively driven and motivated than I have been since the breakup. You know, what's actually funny is what made me want to go back to the video I made last month, edit it up and upload it onto YouTube. I went back to that video because I stumbled across one small channel, and it was just this guy who had just been broken up. He was trying his best to preserve his image of being a composed and calm guy despite what he was going through. And he was just talking fully, vulnerably, and honestly about what his mind was going through, his breakup. He was torn apart, and he was pointing out into the city, into the view, and saying, fuck man, she's right there, and there's nothing I can do about it. And that's exactly how I feel. Breakups are hard, man, but it's so inspiring, because he really made me feel like I wasn't alone. And all these videos that I've watched, it's made me realize this is such a universal experience. What I went through when I was not happy with myself, I filmed that because I wanted to make myself feel like I was not alone. I wanted to be able to look back on this and realize the pain and the hurt I was going through, and know that I was still here, alive today, and I was doing a little bit better. Life is shitty, and I'm always gonna have problems regardless. Like I said in that last video, there's always gonna be a battle. There's always gonna be problems. It's always gonna be about the journey and not the destination. But that's what life is all about. I'm sorry if this video is kind of rambly, but I don't know, I'm hoping that this video kind of shows a little bit more of a personal side of me. And I hope that me being vulnerable and putting myself out there doesn't really affect my life in a negative way. But yeah, this is my process in life. This is what I am currently going through. I hope to see myself as someone who makes a lot of content that can really help people. And, you know, I feel like this might be a good start for me to at least learn what helps others, and most importantly, what helps myself find happiness. I'm hoping that I can express these emotions that I'm feeling in a more abstract way, in a film, in a screenplay. The reason why I do this, on top of wanting to inspire and spread love and joy and peace, is really just that I want to be understood. I want people to know the struggles and understand what I've been through, and find a connection through that and say, this story is also my story, and I understand what you're going through. I worked on a feature film this past summer. It's a love drama romance, and the director, who also wrote the screenplay, is so amazing. I actually partied with him yesterday, and I drove him around yesterday because, you know, I'm maintaining my sobriety while I go through this breakup, through this exciting, amazing hero's journey kind of a day, I ended up at his apartment and he showed me half of the movie. And it was so beautiful. Like, I kid you not, it was so beautiful. It was not just personal to him, it was personal to me. Just seeing what I contributed into this story that was so beautiful. And I hope you guys will eventually get to see it too. I have not been able to stop thinking about it. This story, this love story, was a story that I was living through that I didn't even realize at the time while filming it. We are essentially going to be the next generation of Hollywood. He was telling me how he was so excited that one day we might both end up being at an American Cinematheque Q&A, and we would tell this story of how we met and how we worked together, and now that we're both like telling our own personal stories and being filmmakers out there, directors, how amazing it was. It gave me so much hope in the world, so much hope that I had not felt in so long, since the breakup, actually. I probably said, this is one of the best days of my life, maybe like 10 to 20 times, because it was so true. I came home, I could not stop writing my own story. I've just never been so excited to share my story to the world. What you're watching right now is a big ramble of my life right now. But I'm hoping that one day I will be able to turn the stories that I've had in my life and beautifully write it into a novel, a screenplay, adapt it into something visual, a music video, a feature film, a TV show. And it doesn't have to be this love, romance, breakup story that I'm currently facing right now, as much as I do want it to be. The life experiences that I've lived, it just makes sense. You know, I understand what it means to be a writer. You live life and you reflect on it and you overthink it sometimes, but you realize the journey was right there. Never stop writing until it becomes its own thing. And then you inspire people to send out a message that they're not alone. Your experiences can connect with others. I hope that my experience connects to yours. I hope that this video makes you feel a little less alone, because that was my intention. So I ended the last video by saying you gotta have your back always. And I'm gonna say it again, but I'm going to say why I say this. The love of my life, the real love of my life, Shawn Mendes, the one who's taught me everything about mindfulness and being in stillness, being vulnerable as a man, what it means to be masculine and to be okay having anxiety as a creative, a true writer. In one of his podcast interviews, he says, when you go to sleep, even though you're with someone in a relationship and you go to sleep in the same bed with them, you close your eyes, you're only with yourself, even if the person's right next to you. And even if he says something in the podcast that might have felt weird and might have rubbed someone the wrong way, he made a promise to himself that he's got his back. That simple reminder that he signs off in every journal entry that he writes, I got your back, no matter what. I always will have your back. It allows him to let go and be okay with who he is. He kind of lives life without regret, and he lives life with compassion and humility. And that's the life that I want to live. I want to have my back. I made mistakes, you know. This relationship ended for a reason. I lost my sense of self. At the end of the day, though, I have my back, and I'm the only person who's really gonna have my back. People are going to leave your life, you know, it's circumstantial, and it's okay. You know, they might come back in your life. I have hope. People who are meant to be in your life will come back. But there's one person who will never leave you, and that's yourself, because you really can't leave yourself. There's no possible way. You may try to want to leave yourself. You might hate yourself. But that's not gonna do you any good. It's just gonna drive other people away. If you wanna attract people, you gotta first start by loving yourself. People love the people who love themselves, I guess. And you gotta give yourself more credit. I'm obviously projecting so hard. I'm a person who's really hard on myself, and I am working on that. This is my goal as a 22-year-old. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on loving myself and having my back always. This is not the end of the story, of my story, of, this relationship, of all the relationships that I've been in, whether they're friendships or they're romantic relationships. It's not over. I don't believe it's over. There's always more to it, and there's always two sides of the story too. I can't imagine what it must be like to be in my ex's shoes right now. Life is complicated. Everyone has it hard, and everyone is trying their best to be happy. And I can't blame them for making the decisions that they make, for trying to be happy. Everyone really does deserve happiness, and they are free to do what they please. I want to respect what their choices are, what their boundaries are, and I want to put love out there. So this is me saying no more negativity. I mean, obviously negativity is healthy in a way of just, acknowledging its existence, but no more projecting negativity, I guess. Yeah, how about that? I'm gonna go to sleep. I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I am in a play, which is crazy because I have never done a play. I have rambled so much, I've gone on so many tangents, but I don't know. I feel great. This was really nice. And really cathartic, I'd say. All right, good night. I have your back. Tristan, I have your back. And you should have your back too. Peace.